welcome to this episode of In the Studio with me, Mike Williams. I think this is episode number 5 or 6, I don't know. But this week I'm gonna do something special because I updated my MacBook and I lost a lot of plugins and I had to buy a lot of plugins and basically everything was fucked. So the only thing I had left was a lot of Logic plugins, they're standard plugins. And so for this week I want to do a challenge. Let's make a track with only standard Logic plugins. Some of them are really shit, some of them are quite good. So we're gonna test it out. Let's see if we can make a track. I'm not able to make a full track. We'll see what happens. So first, I found this, there's a plugin called Alchemy, and it kind of looks like Nexus or something like that. It has a lot of different sounds here, which is pretty cool. I found this bell, sounds like this. And I kind of want to start with that, with the track. I made this melody. It's not the best melody, but also the instruments are not gonna be that good, so it doesn't really matter. It's gonna be a shitty track anyways. So I added some overdrive on it, also all standard Logic plugins. A bit crusher, delay to make it a bit more interesting. And oh fuck, you got me. This is not a standard plugin. Valhalla Room. Okay, I have to replace that with Space Designer. It's actually pretty good reverb, this one. Space Designer, also a Logic standard plugin. You can really change all the different types of reverb, the size, the length. Even more, I think, in Valhalla Room. So that's it for the first melody. Kind of want to do a reverse so that it comes in. So what I do is I just put a shitload of reverb on it, then I export it and then I reverse it. So then it sounds like this. Pretty cool. Let's add some more stuff. So now we're gonna add some chords. I always like to group them. So I have like one group which says lead, the other is chords, the other will be bass or bass line, FX, and then drums or something. So I already made like a group with chords, and this one is called leads. And here I have the ES2, which is also a standard Logic plugin. I just grabbed the factory default and just tweaked something, and now it sounds like this. And I put automation on the cutoff. For the people who don't know how to find the right knob in their automation, you can always tap the touch button here and then touch that knob, and then it will automatically pop up here. So now I made some layers, some extra layers for the lead, because I kind of want to open it up a bit, have like a hands up moment in the track, like a pre-drop thing. It's quite difficult to find some really like strong sounds, strong synthesizers, but I'll show you one by one what I found. First, I still have the bells. Then I have, it's the same plugin actually, Alchemy, this sound. This is actually the sampler. It's a sampler of Logic, and you can find a lot of sounds in there. There are some pretty good pianos and guitars, and we'll try to make it work. We have a trancey kind of thing. So Logic now, since the update, has 2 more plugins, and they are called Studio Horns and Studio Strings. And there are some cool presets you can choose from, as you can hear. Sounds pretty, yeah, real. And also the horns are pretty cool, so you should check that out. This plugin is gonna be like, it gets closer to the real cool plugins. So together, it sounds like this. I mean, it sounds okay. It's not the best, but we can do something with it. So let's move to the chords. So here we have the chords. There's an ES2, there's a retro synth. I have no idea why, but oh yeah, here I have the horns with some overdrive on it to make it a bit bigger. And a piano with some chords on it. So together the chord sounds like this. So I put a compressor on every group so that every group is nicely compressed, and at the end in the master the mixing is going to be easier. So again, I use the Logic standard compressor. I mean, it's not like, normally I use the glue, but for now this will kind of do the job. And here I just boost the high ends and I get rid of the mid ends here a bit in the chords. So that's how it sounds now. Pretty shit, but we'll try to make it better. Let's add some bass line to it. The bass line is really important because it's gonna add a lot of atmosphere to your track. Here we have the ESP. I have no idea what plugin this is. But I use it as a sub bass. What I also do is, here I made the MIDI for the bass line. I try to move it a bit with glides and stuff, so it's going to be more interesting. Move it up 1 octave, for example, so you get like the do 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 do, like just like cool stuff. Okay, that's the sub bass. Then we have the guitar. This is also the sampler. It's just the guitar from Logic, electric guitars, progressive rock muted. And then I put an amp on it, amplifier, to make it a bit more, to give it a bit more balls, so it sounds a bit more fat. And then we have another guitar, and this one is gonna add a bit more like mid-low section instead of only sub, so you get like the full range of bass line in your mix. So together it sounds like this. Also, I put a compressor on it. Here. Sounds really shit, but let's continue. Also, by the way, on my master I also put a compressor, just really simple, and a limiter, the L1 limiter by Logic. So, here I made a group of others. Normally I would separate it in drums, effects and stuff, but I'm just gonna call it others. I'm just gonna put it in one group to make it easier. Of course, we are only allowed to use Logic plugins, but we can use some other sounds from Splice or something, just like samples. So I just put some samples in there to make a bit more interesting, like this. And this. Sounds really cool, like you're in the spa or something. And some fills, a spinning fill, and a top kick. An ARP, not sure if we're gonna use it. An impact from Cashmere, always works. At the end, let's hear it, the whole thing. I think it's gonna sound really shit, but we tried, and I mean, you can make a track with only Logic plugins, but it's just really difficult. I spent like maybe 1 hour on this, but if you spend like a whole day, you can probably find some really cool sounds, but it's gonna take a long time. So let's hear it. Sounds really shit. Also, like compression wise, you can hear like the volume changes. But I guess if you would spend like a full day on this, then you'll probably get there. So let's move to the questions. If you have any questions about this, drop them in the comments. Make sure you subscribe as well. We're almost gonna hit the 100K. So, question number 1. What shampoo do you use? By Victoroga 10. I use Andrelon, which is a Dutch brand, and it's really good. When will you drop the Jonas Aiden collab by Erik M. Iversen? I have no idea when we're gonna release it. We don't have a release date yet, but really soon, because we're both really excited. How do you make your lead sounds bigger and wider? I can only make it wider in my track. By Afandnis Official. What I do is I stack them. I make sure that they are stacked with some other layers of synthesizers. I put them on one bus, and then I can use the S1 widener to make it a bit wider. Also put some reverb on it, put some compression on it. Probably already gonna make it wider. How can I send you demos? You can send it to promo@mygrims.nl. So that was it, the time is up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. We want to hit that 100K. So thank you so much, and see you next time with another In the Studio with Mike Williams. Ciao.